Oh boy, am I glad to be back to complaining. After all, I am the guy who spent $107 on Jay Schlatt's Christmas album. So Christmas time, right? Lots of people's favorite time of the year, and for good reason. You got all this wonderful stuff, like classic Christmas movies, the eggnog, gingerbread houses, the tree. I could go on and on because, yes, Christmas is in fact my favorite holiday. How did you guess? I personally have grown to enjoy the month of December more rather than Christmas Day itself, and that probably has a lot to do with just growing up and Christmas Day generally becoming less and less exciting as I age. Don't get me wrong, it's still very fun and all that, but it just doesn't have the same spark that it used to, even like 5 years ago. To me, the month of December itself is more enjoyable, just because of the general mood and stuff going on. I typically find that there's a lot less sadness during the Christmas season, and because I like to look at everything with a positive mindset, naturally, I find that amusing. And like I said earlier, there's all these beautiful light displays, the tree, the snow, that is if you live somewhere that gets it, and all these great other things. You're spending time with the family, just generally having a good time and getting some good eats in you too. I find that a large part of Christmas time is basically just reminiscing on the past. A lot of Christmas stuff tends to be older, like all the movies are classics from the 1950s and 90s period, and a lot of the music is from that period too. It's nice to see that the past keeps living through Christmas, and it can make for a nice relaxation period as opposed to the fast pace that the rest of the year seems to go by at. You can just kick back and indulge in some good old nostalgia, and honestly, who doesn't like to do that? I think this is a perfect time to tell you some stories of my own past memories from Christmas, and if you yourself are feeling particularly nostalgic, you can share some of your own stories in the comments too. I have a lot of distinct memories from past Christmases, probably because I'm only 17, but that's besides the point. There's a lot of cool stuff that I got for Christmas over the years, like on Christmas of 2015. My grandfather gifted me a desk for my room. That desk only left my room in June of this year, and I moved 3 times in that time frame. Everywhere I went, it came with me, and it was kind of hard to let it go. I'd had it before I even had my own PC, and before I was even 10 years old. It was a good desk too, solid quality, and definitely built to last, because I was able to use it for 9 years. I never used mouse pads though before last year, so on the keyboard and mouse rollout plate thingy, I don't really know what it's called, the right side was just completely destroyed. It was a giant circle of scraped off paint and finish from 7 years of mouse movement. It was sad, but unfortunately, the desk had to go. Next up, we got Christmas of 2013. This one was quite memorable because this year I was gifted the classic, the OG, the one and only iPod Touch, a 5th gen one to be exact. This thing flipped my whole world upside down. Not only could I watch YouTube videos wherever I wanted, but I could also play Minecraft anywhere I wanted. Minecraft Pocket Edition 0.8.1. I remember it like it was yesterday. You could say I yearned for those mines. So many great memories were made on that version of Minecraft. The old Pocket Edition really was amazing because it was made to be specifically tailored to mobile. Things like the interfaces, world gen, and game mechanics all came together to make the absolute perfect mobile game to pass the time. Not only that, it had local multiplayer too, so if you wanted to join up on a friend's world while you were hanging out, you could. The iPod is also significant in that it was where I started this channel and made my first video almost 8 years ago now in iMovie, and I think that that was one of the greatest choices I've ever made. Oh yeah, that iPod Touch also introduced me to some things that I may or may not have liked just a little bit, to the point that I now pay a monthly subscription to access it. What? Dude, I'm talking about anime. What else would I be talking about? Lastly, before I stop telling stories, we got Christmas of 2017. Christmas of 2017 was actually insane. I got my hands on the Nintendo Switch alongside Super Mario Odyssey and Zelda Breath of the Wild. I was hyped for a Switch all damn year that year. I was keeping up with the news, the games, the everything. And once I finally got it, oh my god, I played the shit out of that thing. I had like 360 something hours on Breath of the Wild over the course of a year or something, and that's definitely not my Fortnite playtime. Lots of time was sunk into that console, although I never did finish the Breath of the Wild DLC, and I still want to, so maybe that's a future endeavor, I don't know. Regardless though, that night I unboxed the special gift. Everyone's gotten at least one of those special gifts that comes out at night after you're done with the Christmas dinner and whatnot. In this case, it was 4 tickets to a Montreal Canadiens game 3 months later. Now that still remains as one of my favorite Christmas gifts ever. I remember that trip so well too. March of 2018, driving 12 hours to Montreal, some of it in the middle of a blizzard. Oh, it was amazing. And then there was the game itself, in which I took some very crappy photos because the iPod Touch didn't have a back camera, so I couldn't see what I was taking a picture of. It was lots of fun though, and even though we were sat as far back as we could go, like literally our backs were against the walls of the arena, I got to go to an NHL hockey game for the first time, and as a local resident of the Great White North, that made me very, very happy. Now that I think about it, maybe the only reason we could afford the tickets was because of the seating. Anyways, enough rambling about myself because I could go on and on about my favorite and most memorable Christmases. So let's get into the actual point of this video. No Christmas has really hit the same as 2017 or 2013 ever since. Like I said earlier, I appreciate the season now more than the actual day itself, and interestingly enough, that's actually only popped up since Christmas itself started to hit different. To me at least, the way Christmas Day played out has evolved so much. Back in the day, we used to get out the whole family and then some to our place for a big Christmas dinner, but over the years, unfortunately, that came to an end. Friends drifted apart, the elderly passed on, and aunts and uncles became mothers and fathers. Nowadays, it's usually just a small gathering of 6 or 7, and well, yes, that is nice in a lot of ways. It's a lot different than it used to be, and well, that means it hits different. I'm not so excited for Christmas Day anymore. Don't get me wrong, I still love the day itself. It's important to me to celebrate the birth of the one and only King Jesus Christ, but the material side of it has significantly died down for me. That's not a bad thing though, because as you grow, you naturally realize, much like the Grinch, that maybe Christmas means a little bit more. The closest thing that resembles an older Christmas to me was 2022, where I was bestowed my first electric guitar, in which I broke the high E string that same day just by playing it, but that's about it. Nothing else really compares in my opinion, and maybe you can relate to this, or maybe not, but honestly, it's kind of sad to me, you know, knowing that you'll never be able to go back to that time where it was super exciting to wake up that morning. Whenever Christmas time has come around for the last few years, I just kind of think about how much everything has changed, how another year is in the books, and now I'm 1 year closer to getting spleefed into the ground with a bunch of regrets. It's one of the only times that atmosphere can low-key get me emotional. Sitting on the couch late at night by myself, looking at the tree while it's snowing outside with the Christmas Time Is Here instrumental playing in the background. God, just thinking about it makes me shed a tear. While I'm doing this, I'm kind of just in this reflective state where I just kind of think about life and things with my full mind in general. I'm so distracted all day and every day by this and that I truly never get the chance to fully reflect on my life and the choices that led me to this point. I believe that sometimes taking moments like this is nice. It's a good way to not only relax, but also to just kind of regroup and keep your focus centered on what you truly want out of life. Unfortunately though, sometimes these things just don't feel good to think about, but just remember that you can always take comfort in knowing that pain is part of pleasure, and that much like how all good things must come to an end, similarly, all bad things must come to an end. Wow, I bet you didn't expect things to get this deep in a video with silly Minecraft gameplay over it, but it's just me sharing my thoughts on things, which is essentially what I do on this channel, with the occasional hour-long movie sprinkled in there for variety. So if you like the prospects of that, how's about you consider subscribing to the channel, Maybe even ring that notification bell while you're down there. Yeah, that's up to you, but that's about it from me, so I'll see you in the next one, okay?